gives me an option to flee if I want to. Okay, so good morning. I'm, again, I said my name earlier, but Chris Ester. I'm replacing Dale Higgins. I'm kind of the lead hydrologist. There's two other hydrologists. We kind of form what we call the Watershed Program on the National Forest. And I'm going to be presenting primarily to you guys about this new Great Lakes stream crossing inventory. It's, well, not new, but we've updated the protocol and added a pretty spiffy new data collection tool, and are excited about some of the different features that come along with that. And so I'm going to be kind of talking to you about the inventory a bit and maybe demoing it a bit, but here's my outline. I did want, because I'm new to the Lake Superior Collaborative Steering Team, you know, I think I've been involved with the Slow to Flow team and Kyle's, you know, effort there with the FEMA-funded Morengo watershed assessment. So, you know, we've been involved, but not as much kind of at this level with the collaborative. So I wanted to just let you guys know about what we do as a watershed program on the Chequamegon-Nicolet, and then kind of walk you through the Great Lakes stream crossing inventory a bit, and then talk about how we're planning to apply it and some of the other people who are using it in the basin and across northern Wisconsin. So the Watershed Program, we really have two jobs on the National Forest. The reason we exist primarily is to protect water resources, as the Forest Service is tasked with implementing the Clean Water Act. So ultimately, that's why we have jobs on the National Forest. There wasn't hydrologists on national forests until the 80s, probably soon after the Clean Water Act came out. And also the fun stuff, we get to do some restoration. So let me just give you just a few minutes on each of these points. So the reason why we have to protect water resources is fairly obvious. You know, if you know anything about the history of the Forest Service, we exist to provide multiple uses. The famous quote of Pinchot, of course, Gifford Pinchot, is to provide the greatest good to the greatest number over the long term. And we still kind of strive to do that, and it's hard to do. You know, these multiple uses are competing. We have lots of conflict in terms of forest management, how to manage the land, and yet we are trying to do it. So all of these different uses that you see here have the potential to impact water resources, and so our job is to try to minimize that impact. And also through the NEPA process, as specialists, we try to forecast the environmental effects of these different actions on water resources. So, you know, on the Chequamegon-Nicolet, it's really the logging on the top left and kind of recreation on the bottom left that are the biggest impacts, as well as the road networks that support those two activities. We don't really have grazing on this national forest, though that's a big program on most. And of course, mining. This is a picture from Minnesota, not from Wisconsin. But we do have some mining, some proposals on the National Forest, and historic, certainly more so than current. So, and that can impact water resources. So, you know, as specialists, as hydrologists, the Watershed Program, we tried to educate our timber program, our recreation program, about the different laws and regulations that are out there. We utilize the best management practices that are available to us. So that's on this forest for us, it's about 30% of our job. Now, the other piece, which is restoration, which is the fun stuff, and it's about 70% of our job on the National Forest. We go out there and we try to find issues, things that are actively, these are usually, we call them legacy effects, basically from the old days of Forest Service management, where we were building too many roads and logging too many trees, and we're stuck with quite a bit of historic effects. And on the Chequamegon-Nicolet, we have 15,000 miles of road. Only 5,000 of those are public and open. We have a tremendous kind of stored old, you know, logging road network on the National Forest. And where those roads cross streams are our biggest impacts to our watersheds. We have undersized culverts that fail in floods. They're, as you see in the top left, perched oftentimes, and barriers to fish. So really Dale Higgins and the others in the program who have been here longer than me, really since about 1997, have been aggressively pursuing road stream crossing replacement. And so we've kind of just, not by accident, but we've kind of become experts in that particular science and also practice. So how that works for us is we start with an inventory and we find out where our problems are, and then we do our own surveys, topographic and longitudinal cross-sectional surveys at these sites, and we help with design. We also try to fund these projects through contracts. Also, we have a heavy equipment operator crew internally in the Forest Service. We do about 20 of these a year. We install stream crossings, and then we monitor the results. You can see the picture on the bottom right is the same site as the picture on the top left, and that is Preemption Creek, right on the forest boundary in the Lake Superior watershed. That was one of our first big, stream simulation projects. So we have a lot of collective experience in this stuff, and I guess that's one thing I wanted to let you guys know. Maybe you already know that, but this is really our specialty, and other partners in the basin, if they're doing road stream crossing work, we definitely would like to partner and help in any way that we can. So we also have kind of championed this certain type of design of stream crossings that we call ecological culvert design or stream simulation design. Essentially, we're building a stream and we're putting a lid over it. And we've been studying this design technique and its effectiveness on the forest for nearly 25 years. And these things, 90% of the stream simulation culverts that we installed in the flood area of 2016 survived the 2016 flood. So high success rate in floods, and obviously the other main purpose for these is they pass all life stages of all fish at almost all flows. So this is really cool. We believe wholeheartedly in stream simulation, and we're pretty aggressive at trying to educate people who aren't doing this across the state, because not only is it costing more money in the long term with undersized culverts failing, more maintenance, but it is, installing traditionally sized and traditionally designed culverts is a huge impact on the resource. So we love this method and we train people in it. Other thing we do in terms of restoration is we try to find rivers and streams that have been impacted by different things, but primarily by historic log driving in northern Wisconsin. Major impacts, these log drives widened and shallowed a lot of our large rivers. There's also a lot of, top right picture there is historic logging dams. So we try to remove those logging dams, restore the longitudinal cross-sectional dimensions of these rivers. And we've done one large river in the last decade, which is the South Fork of the Flambeau, about 5 miles of it, where we narrowed and deepened and put large wood back in. And we're working right now on the Border Brule River, which is up kind of on the northern part of our Eagle River Florence district. So not in the Great Lakes Basin, but we're also doing some work on the Morengo, just stabilizing some of the bluffs that blew out in some of the recent floods. But anyway, we do some of this work. Here's the Brule. It's really shallow, really wide, hard to illustrate. There's Dale there doing a survey. You can see, just to give you a feeling, this red line is the cross section of what we're going to do. We're going to dig a new thalweg, pile it to make a new bankful elevation at a narrower width and a deeper channel as well, which will be better for the fish. We're going to install large wood. And here's kind of what we've accomplished in 22 years. The Watershed Program, we've got about 1,300 stream crossings that we have inventoried. Most of that data is old. We've replaced 310 stream crossings, which is right around a third of them that we've a quarter that we've inventoried, which we're pretty proud of. And we do a bunch of trainings. I'll get more on that later. We've reconstructed, relocated miles of trails and roads for wetland restoration, different things like that. So here's my segue into the inventory, and I'm probably already going late on my time here. But so inventory of road stream crossings is extremely critical for us to be able to know where we're going to prioritize, our road stream crossing replacements on the forest. So this is a little piece of the headwaters of the Morengo River watershed. You can see all these dots. These are our existing inventory, and the inventory did a pretty good job. We got a lot of good data on the size of the existing culverts, condition, some impacts to the stream. But moreover, I guess in most places, this inventory is becoming outdated. We've been replacing culverts, but not updating it. Things change, townships do things that don't tell us. So it's 20-year-old data. And so really that out of that need, I guess, for better data and, well, a few other areas. So that the existing inventory wasn't very holistic. It wasn't very great on AOP assessment, fish barrier or not barrier assessment. Didn't have a built-in like prioritization system. So we're kind of just going off of our professional judgment on where we actually replaced culverts and didn't. So for the last year and a half, we've been working with what we call the Road Stream Crossing Collaborative, a group of partners, which I'll talk about more later. And we updated the Great Lakes Stream Crossing Inventory, which has been around since 2011. It's been used in limited capacity in Wisconsin, mostly in Michigan. And the reason we jumped on this train is because they have a GIS wizard over there in the Michigan DNR. They were already working with folks like Mark Fedora from the Ottawa National Forest to update it and building it into a Survey 123 format. And they were willing to incorporate all of our additional factors. We were wanting to add a bunch of factors in it to any stream crossing inventory method we could do. We would have made our own if we couldn't have used this one, but this has worked out excellently. Just about a month ago, we got it updated and it's out there. It's free to the public. There's a Survey 123 data collection tool, which is free. You can use it on any phone or tablet. We've added many factors to this inventory. It's pretty holistic because we really wanted to have factors that helped us assess two things ultimately, or three. The risk of failure, so that these are kind of combining stream measurements with physical measurements of the road and the crossing to try to assess what the risk of failure is in a flood, to assess the consequences of failure. That just help prioritize, and then thirdly to assess the current impacts that the crossing is having on the stream. And those are three really important kind of prioritization factors that you might say to consider when replacing crossing. Risk of failure, current impacts, consequences of failure. So that's how we've tailored all of our factors here in this inventory to do. You can, just something about Survey 123. If you're not aware, you can collect data offline. There's no data entry because as soon as you come back into Wi-Fi, the data goes right up to the database. Really slick. Yeah, pictures, location data, and tabular data all in one spot. And then I've also built in a prioritization system that applies automatically applies a numeric, like an overall risk rating score to every single culvert based on the data that's entered. It's generic, but it will be a great place to start for road managers when they're thinking about, where should they prioritize their replacement funding. We have this really sweet hub site that I just want to show you really quick. I'm gonna have to get out of this, I think. Oh, okay, I'm gonna start sharing a different screen. Sorry, I'm not great with this, and can you guys see this screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so this isn't what I wanted to show you. There's an ArcGIS hub site which has everything having to do with Great Lakes survey, has an awesome dashboard for viewing the data, analyzing the data. I think more important maybe is to give you a real quick look at the Survey 123 itself. This is the desktop version of Survey 123, so it lays out a little bit different on your phone, but overall this is what it looks like. Instructions overall, there's nine pages to it. This might be a little clunky loading it here. Just wanted to run you through it. So this one's just all about location. You can have your lat long, site ID, stream name, crossing name, observer name, county, just kind of the overall contextual data for these crossings. We have information on kind of the road or trail or whatever it is, railroad grade itself, condition of it, And the coolest thing, one of the coolest things I think about what Mike Rubley on the DNR, he's the one who built this Survey 123, is he built in instructions. So here's a factor: symptoms of compromised road core integrity. You know, the crews will select good, fair, or poor road core integrity, but here's the instructions right here. They hit the drop down. Oh, here's symptoms: sinkholes, undermining, slumping, piping, undercutting. You know, so they don't have to have a printed version of our instructions, which we do have. It's about 47-page PDF, but they've got the instructions built right into the survey. So it's really kind of a one-stop shop here for doing these inventories, and it's really slick. Kind of in, you know, you got your directions and then your options, and just really easy. So here's alignment, good, fair, poor, with figures built in, structure, skew, road width. This is just everything about the road. Wanted to again give you just an overall here. This is about the crossing structure itself. Is it a culvert? Is it a bridge? The structure shape, the materials, is there multiple structures, the size. Going really fast here because we have a lot of factors that we collect. I think it's about 108. Is the structure plugged? Is it crushed? Is it rusted through? The general condition of the structure. Wants me to actually enter a piece of data before moving on. I hope it lets me move on. Representative reach. So this is where they go and they try to measure bank full width, and the ratio between bank full width of the stream and the span of the structure is the most critical factor. We call it constriction ratio. What we found on the National Forest over our years of doing this, over our years of studying culverts and how they respond to floods, bank full width span culverts is the #1 design criteria. They have to be bank full span width or they will not survive floods, and they will change they'll have negative impacts to the morphology of the stream and fish passage. So part of this inventory, we have them go up, find a representative reach of the stream and measure bank full width and a few other things, but most importantly, bank full width. We have them assess the overall stability of the channel pretty quick. Also, kind of, is it entrenched, moderately entrenched, or slightly entrenched, because just the stream corridor, that kind of dictates different flood stresses. In an entrenched situation, a lot more stream power in floods, and that affects the culvert. Aquatic passability is automatically calculated based on the factors that are collected. They're collecting velocity and depth and embeddedness of the structure, length of the structure. So that's really cool. One of the best parts, I think, of this inventory method is that's automatically assessed. They're not just subjectively picking, is it a barrier or not? It's all built in by kind of a well-established protocol that have been developed with the Fish and Wildlife Service and Trout Unlimited. Pictures, comments, and then this doesn't show it, but well, maybe it will if I hit submit. In the actual app in your phone or tablet, once you're done submitting all the data and you've collected it all, it'll spit out your overall risk rating score for the crossing, which is just a numerical rating, but across a watershed scale, that'll be really helpful for prioritizing one over the other, because it'll be numbers. It's not subjective or based on the judgment of the individual crews. I'm sorry, how much time do I have? I would like to go back. I have just two or three more slides. Can I do that?
Yeah, you're fine. Go ahead.
Sorry,
no rush.
Well, and I didn't practice this either to be organized here.
We're an informal bunch. Don't worry about it.
Well, I fit right in with you guys. I wanted to show you the dashboard, but I'm not going to be able to. I'll get you this. If you want to look at this presentation, you can click on this link, and it has a lot more than the dashboard, but the dashboard is sweet because it has all these analysis tools for looking at the data, seeing where it's been collected. This is an older snapshot. You can see it's been used a lot in Michigan already. Oneida County, which is the big chunk there in Wisconsin, has been using it this fall. To talk more in a little bit about where else this is going to be used. How how to sign up for this, you have to talk to Mike Rubley from the DNR. It's free, but he has to add you to the group, which is not publicly available right now. So on the National Forest, we're using Good Neighbor Authority program revenue with the DNR. I don't have time to get into what that is now, but maybe some of you are aware. About a $500,000 project over the next 3 to 5 years to inventory all stream crossings on the National Forest. So all of those watersheds, those are HUC 12 watersheds, and kind of how you can see all the watersheds that are highlighted there are, I guess, in that green color is where we're actually going to be doing the inventory. And you can see in key watersheds that have significant portions on the National Forest, we're also doing the off forest portions of those watersheds just to have a kind of complete picture in the watershed. And the place we're going furthest off forest is here in the Morengo because of this group because of Kyle and that effort there. We're also doing the off forest portion of the whole Morengo. So within 3 years, we'll have every single road, trail, old dam, railroad grade, old logging road, that's hasn't been walked on in 80 years. Everywhere that any man-made fill crosses a stream, we're going to have a data point, and it's going to be pretty sweet. We're expecting there to be about 3,000 points across the forest. So that effort just kicked off yesterday, actually. The DNR hired a contractor, which happens to be MSA. They just got the low bid on it, but we're excited to work with them. And they're kicking it off this next month in the Morengo. So here we go. So ultimately, the goal of that effort is to have a map like this. This is from my old job, so certainly don't. It doesn't match anything anything that affects us. But just to illustrate, we want to be able to know where our highest risk crossings are across the National Forest, and we want to have it to be a numerical risk rating system so that these risks can be assessed evenly across all crossings in the National Forest. And we want a map like this to show, oh, there's that, look at that. This is how we prioritize our work. And we're gonna go fix that red one down there before we fix any of the other ones, kind of thing. So ultimately we will have a map in 3 to 5 years that looks like this, that covers the whole National Forest. So that's kind of how we're using the Great Lakes Stream Crossing Inventory. I would like to mention this map does not do a good job here. The Northwest Regional Planning Commission got a grant, and they are also using this inventory method across all of the rest of Douglas, Bayfield, Ashland, and Iron counties. So all of it will be done. So if you work in those counties, actually, I think that's the whole South Shore, right? So we'll have all of the data within like 3 years for the whole South Shore Basin. So pretty exciting if you think about just the potential for partnerships, the potential for watershed scale restoration of stream crossings. Other partners are using this across northern Wisconsin. I'm expecting, Trout Unlimited and like some of the counties, DNR. I'm expecting Fish and Wildlife Service too. Sorry, but expecting the whole northern third of the state to be covered with this inventory method in the next 5 years. Road Stream Crossing Collaborative, just to mention really quickly, if you aren't aware of us, it's kind of a small group of, road stream crossing nerds from the DNR, John Simonson, Sean Haslew, us on the Chequamegon-Nicolet National Forest, Mark Fedora on the Ottawa National Forest, Michigan DNR now, a couple folks over there, Mike Rubley, and then Trout Unlimited, you guys know Chris Collier. And we're kind of, more folks are being interested. I know Kyle, you're kind of getting involved too, but just to kind of mention what we do really quick. We're all about trying to educate people and create flood resilient crossings that are also past AOP. This is really our mission, our goal. How we do this is we kind of use our combined expertise and we try to train other road managers, towns, counties, DOT, anybody managing road stream crossings about how to do holistic inventory and how to design stream crossings that are ecologically sound using stream simulation design and are going to be flood resilient and allow for AOP. This is what we do. We do an annual design workshop, which is between 1.5 and 3 days. It varies. We've done it all across the state. We were going to do it in Ashland, actually coming up on the October 15th, I think it was going to be, at the with the Great Lakes Visitor Center, but we canceled that, and we are now going to be doing just a virtual half-day thing, just to do something in February and March, and I'll let you guys know about that. Next year, though, we're still planning to come to Ashland, and I would love y'all's support, different organizations you work for, at least for getting the word out on that design workshop. And we also do annual field tours. We're planning on, you know, if COVID allows and everything, we'd like to do one in the summer of 2021 in the Hayward area. That's where we go look at stream cross. We take a whole day. We look at bad stream crossings. We look at good stream crossings. We just get out there and talk. We had 80 or 70 people 2 years ago, or last time we did this in 2019. Pretty cool. Also, we'll come out and present on this stuff to anybody who wants us at any time. Individuals, groups. So that's it. I'm sorry, I'm sure I went over my time, but I'll get this presentation to you all, and please do feel free to reach out to me in terms of any of this stuff, National Forest Management, what we're doing in the Watershed Program, or certainly on the Road Stream Crossing Collaborative too. That's if you want any of that expertise or training or whatever materials, I can help with that. Thanks for your time, and I'm sure I went over. Sorry about that.